Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're digging into your sources, mainly Arthur Brooks's How to Build a Life columns from The Atlantic.
Right, and we're also weaving in some wisdom from classical thinkers too. Should be interesting.
Definitely. We're aiming to extract the key insights here. Think of it as a way to cut through all the noise about living a fulfilling life.
Because you've shared these, probably looking for some real practical guidance. And that's the goal, right? Actionable stuff.
Exactly. And what's interesting is Brooks, he's a social scientist, but he often seems to be exploring things that resonate personally. Like he's figuring things out for himself too, which I think we all do.
Absolutely. That personal angle makes his work really relatable. He's grappling with these fundamental human questions that philosophers have been tackling for, forever.
It's a great mix, that contemporary view and the classical background.
Yeah, I think that blend is where we find some really profound takeaways.
Okay, so let's dive right in. One piece that really jumped out was from May 2022. Brooks talks about midlife.
Oh, right. The two choices that keep a midlife crisis at bay.
Yeah, that one. He kind of flips the script, suggesting middle age isn't just decline. It could be this chance for transcendence, he calls it.
Now, what's cool is how he uses his own life, right? Like, turning 58 becomes the starting point for his research into it, his me-search, as he puts it.
Which feels very authentic.
It does. And, thinking about the classics, Seneca comes to mind. He was always talking about how fortune changes, how even powerful people face huge shifts. He even suggested that seeing trouble in, palaces can weirdly make our own problems feel easier to bear.
Like a shared vulnerability across time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So does that suggest there's something inherent about that midlife point? A natural time for reevaluation, maybe, no matter the era?
That's a really good question. Is it just a modern thing or deeper? Brooks also hits on something else, this constant need for external validation.
Ah, yes.
In Stop Keeping Score, he basically says chasing prestige, money, social standing. It actually makes us less satisfied.
That's the scorecard approach. And it feeds right into that, that hedonic treadmill idea.
Explain that a bit.
Well, you chase something, a promotion, a new car, whatever. You get it, feel good for a bit, and then that feeling fades. So you need the next thing, the bigger box, as Brooks says. Your desires just reset.
Always chasing.
Always chasing. And Seneca saw this too. He argued those external things, wealth, status, they aren't really us. They're temporary.
Like tools, not the core.
Precisely. He used this analogy of them being like auxiliary troops in a camp. Useful maybe, but servants, not masters. He was all about finding confidence within yourself, in your own spirit. That's the real anchor, good times or bad.
It feels like running a race where the finish line just keeps moving. Which brings us to happiness itself, something Brooks explores a lot.
Yeah, and its potential pitfalls. I remember him talking about this with Dan Harris.
It makes me think of Plato, actually. In the Philebus, he really dissects what pleasure even is.
Oh, absolutely. Plato's Philebus is so relevant here. He suggests pleasure is often just a generation, like a process of filling a void.
Not a stable state of being.
Right. Think about scratching an itch. Is that happiness or just relief from discomfort?
Good point.
And then there's that brilliant image in the Gordias, the leaky jars.
Ah, yes.
Trying to find happiness through constant indulgence is like pouring water into leaky jars. You're always filling, never full.
Callicles in that dialogue basically argues happiness is just endless filling, eating when hungry, drinking when thirsty.
Exactly. And Socrates counters with, well, what about constantly itching and scratching? Is that the ideal life?
No. It perfectly illustrates Brooks' point about desires resetting. You get something, you just want more.
Such a powerful image, those leaky jars. Really hammers home how fleeting pure pleasure can be.
So, okay, if chasing external rewards and constant pleasure doesn't work, what does? It seems like Brooks and the ancients point towards something internal.
Definitely. The focus shifts inwards towards building inner strength, discipline.
Like Marcus Aurelius.
Yes, in his meditations, he's grateful for learning to control anger, to value reason and virtue.
And Epictetus too, right? With his focus on what's in our control.
Exactly. The Enchiridion gives that really practical advice. Focus on your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, the internal stuff. Accept what's external: wealth, health, reputation, because it's not fully yours to command.
He uses that soldier analogy, doesn't he?
He does. Your job is to play your part well, whatever the circumstances. It makes you think, how differently would we handle daily stress if we focused on our reactions, our inner state, instead of trying to control everything outside?
That's a powerful shift in perspective and this idea of inner control. Seneca really digs into this with anger.
Oh, strongly. He argues a good person acts from duty, from reason, not, blind rage.
He says uncontrolled anger comes from weakness, not real conviction.
Right. He contrasts reason, quiet, effective with anger, which he sees as noisy, chaotic, and ultimately self-defeating.
Which feels incredibly relevant today.
Doesn't it? Anger clouds judgment, leads to regret. Reason allows for, well, a more measured response. It's central to that stoic idea of flourishing.
And managing that inner state surely affects how we connect with others.
Which is the next big piece, isn't it? Relationships. Brooks emphasizes this a lot in his work generally.
Meaningful connections.
Yes. And while Brooks warns against those superficial, status-driven relationships,
Right, the stop keeping score idea again.
the classical thinkers put huge value on genuine connection. Seneca, for instance, talks so warmly about his sister,
Oh, yeah.
calls her heart most faithful, talks about the comfort and support they shared, especially during tough times. It shows the strength you find in those deep bonds. What strikes you about this consistent focus on real connection?
It just highlights that we're social creatures, fundamentally. We need that support. And that phrase, most faithful heart, connects so well with Aristotle. In Nicomachean Ethics, he talks about different kinds of friendship. The best kind, he says, is based on shared virtue, mutual respect. It's strong enough to withstand negativity, like gossip or slander.
It goes beyond just utility or shared fun. It's about character.
Exactly.
And you even see echoes in Plato's Symposium, that sort of poetic idea of humans originally being whole and searching for that connection, that completion and love.
A deep-seated need for belonging.
It suggests a drive that's much deeper than just practical benefit or momentary pleasure.
Okay, one last area. Work and contribution. Brooks talks about finding happiness there through, intrinsic motivation, serving others.
Yes, and that lines up perfectly with Aristotle's concept of phronesis, practical wisdom.
Practical wisdom.
It's the ability to deliberate well about how to live a good life, aiming for the common good, not just personal gain.
Which contrasts sharply with, say, the sophists in Plato's Gorgias.
Right. Socrates questions them because their skill, rhetoric, was often just about persuasion, regardless of whether it was actually just or good for people.
He thought a true orator should aim to make citizens better, right? To instill justice.
Exactly, to cultivate justice and root out injustice. So the question for us is, how do we bring that sense of practical wisdom, that commitment to something bigger, into our own work?
It's a lot to think about. So, wrapping this up, it's amazing how these themes keep reappearing, isn't it? Brooks, Seneca, Plato, Aristotle.
It really is, this focus on inner discipline over external stuff. The limits of chasing pleasure, the absolute necessity of real relationships, finding meaning in contribution.
Yeah, the pattern seems clear. True fulfillment doesn't look like ticking boxes on society's checklist.
It seems much more about cultivating who you are inside, managing yourself with wisdom, and building those genuine connections.
So for you listening, reflecting on all this from Arthur Brooks, from the classics,
Yeah.
maybe think about this. What's one small shift you could make, starting today, away from that external scorecard, and more towards building that inner strength or deepening one important connection? Definitely some food for thought there. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.